Chapter 1. Suburbia is spooky. It was supposed to be just another Tuesday night shoot. The camera wobbled as Alex fiddled with the tripod in the back of Cody's dented Honda Civic. Streetlights blurred past in streaks of orange, and the sound of Drake played faintly on the radio. Because of course Cody still had Take Care burned into a CD he refused to replace. The car smelled faintly of Taco Bell wrappers and Monster energy drinks, a scent that was as much a part of their friend group as their inside jokes. "We're gonna get demonetized if that music's on the audio," Alex said, pushing his glasses up his nose. He was the tech guy, the one who knew how to edit, upload, compress files, and rig their cameras so it all looked halfway professional. Without him, the channel wouldn't exist. Cody snorted, drumming his fingers on the steering wheel. "Relax. Nobody's gonna notice. Besides, it's vibes. Our fans like vibes." "Our fans are like 12, said Jess from the passenger seat. She had her phone in hand, scrolling through the comments on their last video, exploring the haunted dairy barn of Elk Grove. Half the comments were variations of fake, and the other half were 12-year-olds begging Cody to scream louder. "They like me," Cody said, smirking. "Big difference. They come for the spooks, but they stay for the codister." "Kill me," Jess muttered, but she was smiling. In the back seat, Matt stretched his legs across Alex's lap, cracking open another Red Bull. He was the oldest of the group by maybe 3 years, but he acted like the little brother nobody wanted. He was also the one most likely to trip over something and eat shit on camera, which guaranteed at least 50K views per video. "I checked the subs this morning," Matt said, grinning through his shaggy bangs. "We're at 148K. You know what that means? That we still can't quit our day jobs?" Alex said, "That we're one haunted cheese away from the big 150. Matt hooped, spraying a little Red Bull on Alex's jeans. Alex groaned. They weren't professionals. Not really. Their channel, Ghost Goofs, had started 2 years earlier as a joke. Cody had dared Alex to sneak into an abandoned bowling alley and record it. They'd uploaded the grainy footage to YouTube with the title Real Ghost, and somehow improbably, it had blown up. Now they staged hauntings every other week, running through decrepit malls, storage units, even a water park that had been closed since the 90s. Jess handled the social media and fan Q&As. Cody was the self-proclaimed star, the loudmouth daredevil. Alex did the editing. And Matt mostly fell downstairs. But the formula worked. And tonight, Cody insisted, was going to be their best yet. The neighborhood they pulled into was nothing like their usual stomping grounds. It wasn't downtown Sacramento or some crumbling industrial park. It was just suburbia, clean driveways, lawn gnomes, sprinklers ticking under the glow of porch lights. "Bro, this is lame," Matt said, pressing his face to the window. "Nobody's gonna believe a cul-de-sac is haunted." "That's what makes it funny," Cody said, turning into the quiet street. He gestured toward the end of the block. "There, that's the one." The house didn't stand out much at first glance. Same ranch-style build as the others, same faded siding. But the lawn was overgrown, weeds pushing through cracks in the driveway. The windows were dark, curtains drawn tight. A mailbox leaned sideways like it had been hit by a car and never fixed. Jess frowned. "Where'd you even hear about this place?" "Reddit," Cody said proudly. Thread said the family moved out in 2009. "People swear they still see someone in the windows." "Creepy," Alex said, shouldering his backpack of camera gear. "Fake creepy," Jess corrected. "Like, teenagers making up stories so they can smoke weed is creepy." But Cody was already grinning into the camera as he filmed the intro. "Yo, what's up, Ghost Goofs gang?" Cody shouted, his voice echoing down the empty street. "Tonight we are coming at you with something special. Forget your barns and your factories. Tonight, we're in the burbs, baby." He panned dramatically to the house, zooming in on the black windows. "This is the infamous Rosewood Street haunting. Supposedly, nobody's lived here for years, but neighbors keep reporting strange noises, figures in the windows, and," he lowered his voice to a whisper, "screams in the night." Matt jumped into frame, pretending to shiver. "Oh no, codister, suburban ghosts. They'll kill us with their HOA fees." Jess slapped her forehead. Alex muttered, This is going to be a nightmare to edit, but it was all part of the routine. Their fans expected corny jokes, fake fear, Cody hamming it up like he was auditioning for a reality show. That's what made it fun. At least, until they stepped onto the property. Something shifted the moment they passed the mailbox. It wasn't dramatic. No lightning strike, no sudden cold wind. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you realize how much background noise Suburbia usually has. Dogs barking, TVs glowing behind curtains, cars in the distance. Here, it was like the sound had been sucked out of the block entirely. Okay, low-key weird, Jess muttered, glancing back at the row of glowing houses. None of the neighbors seemed to be watching, which in itself was strange. Usually someone peeked through the blinds. Matt hopped up the front steps and tried the doorknob. It turned easily. Unlocked, he said, wiggling his eyebrows at the camera. Guess the ghosts don't believe in home security. Cody hooped and shoved the door open. The smell hit them first. It wasn't rot, not exactly. More like a damp, heavy mildew that clung to their clothes and settled in the back of their throats. Alex gagged, coughing into his sleeve. Dude, people are going to think we staged the smell too, he wheezed. Adds authenticity, Cody said, already filming the dark hallway. The beam from Jess's flashlight cut across peeling wallpaper, a toppled picture frame, and carpet stained a color that might once have been beige. Dust floated through the air in thick motes. Yo, this is perfect, Cody whispered to the camera, as though the walls themselves might hear. Creepy house, weird smell, lights out. We're about to get so many clicks. But as Alex adjusted the camera focus, he realized something that made his stomach clench. The dust wasn't falling. It was rising. Okay, you're filming this, right? Cody asked, poking at the staircase with his foot. Yeah, Alex said quietly, though his lens was fixed on the swirling dust. It curled upward, spiraling as though drawn to the ceiling. None of the others seemed to notice. Basement or upstairs? Jess asked, trying to sound bored but keeping her voice low. Basement, Cody said immediately. Always creepier. They moved deeper into the house, their footsteps muffled by the soft carpet. The smell grew stronger, wet and metallic, and the air was cooler than it had been outside. Alex tried to shake off the unease. They'd been in plenty of nasty houses before. Rat nests, mold, graffiti, even one with a dead raccoon in the bathtub. But this felt different, like the house was waiting. The basement door groaned as Matt pulled it open. A set of narrow stairs descended into darkness. Jess shone her flashlight down, and the beam hit the concrete floor. Ladies first, Matt said. Eat shit, Jess replied, but she went anyway because Jess was always braver than the rest of them. Cody filmed her descent, whispering commentary like a sports announcer. And here we have Jessica, the bravest member of Ghost Goofs, entering the haunted lair. His voice trailed off. At the bottom of the stairs, Jess had stopped moving. What? Cody called. She didn't answer. Jess? Alex asked, stepping closer. Her flashlight beam was frozen on the far wall. Slowly, Alex followed it with his own camera light. There were drawings, dozens of them, scrawled in thick, black marker that had bled into the concrete. Some looked like stick figures, others like crude symbols. Circles inside circles, shapes that almost resembled faces, all twisted into gaping mouths. In the center of the wall, written over and over again in messy, frantic script, were 3 words. Let me in. The group fell silent. Even Cody lowered the camera for a moment. Okay, Matt said finally, forcing a laugh. Creepy, but probably just like edgy teens or whatever. Yeah, Cody said, his grin wobbling. Good content, though. Jess turned to look at him, her face pale in the flashlight glow. This doesn't feel like teens, Cody. But Cody lifted the camera again, determined. Nah, this is gold. Guys, this is our best find yet. Real haunted house graffiti. People are gonna eat this up. Alex wanted to believe him. He wanted to just be weird drawings and bad air and nothing more. But as he zoomed in on the words, his camera flickered. Not glitched, not static. Flickered, like something had passed between him and the lens. We pulled it down, nothing was there. Okay, let's wrap this scene, Jess said quickly, climbing back toward the stairs. Seriously, my gut says we should go. Cody followed, still talking to the camera about evil basements and ritual vibes. Matt trailed after them, yawning, clearly over it. Alex lingered just a second longer, filming the wall. The dust was thicker here. He watched it swirl upward again, toward the low ceiling beams. No, not swirl. Gather. Like something invisible was breathing. He snapped the camera shut and hurried after the others. But the words burned in his mind. Let me in. Chapter 2. Content is king. They regrouped in the living room, where the air was thick and the mildew smelled stronger. Cody was buzzing, filming close-ups of everyone's faces while narrating in his YouTube voice. Okay, Ghost Goofs fam, you saw it here first. We found some seriously creepy wall art in the basement. And trust me, that was no sharp-a-doodle from your local Hot Topic fanboy. No, this is the real deal. What do you think, Jess? He shoved the camera practically against her nose. Jess shoved it back, glaring. I think we should not be here. Boo! Matt heckled from the couch, bouncing on the cushions. Dust puffed out with every jump. Scaredy cat Jess strikes again. I'm serious, Jess snapped. Her flashlight beam scanned the ceiling corners, the empty doorways. Something's off about this place. It doesn't feel abandoned. Alex glanced at her. He felt it too. The heaviness pressing against his skin, the way the shadows seemed too thick, like they weren't just absence of light, but presence. But Cody wasn't listening. Cody was riding the adrenaline high. This is perfect, he said, spinning in a slow circle to capture the room. We'll do a few solo shots in here, maybe a fake seance upstairs, then boom, wrap it up. Easy. Solo shots. Alex asked. You know the classics. Cody adjusted his hat backward, like he was about to perform surgery. One of us goes into the basement alone, one of us checks upstairs alone, and we get their terrified reaction. People love that. Nope, Jess said immediately. Come on, it's just a bit. Not doing it. Matt grinned. I'll do it. I'll make out with the wall art, add some spice. God, please don't, Alex muttered. They filmed anyway. Cody insisted on a ghost interview segment, which basically meant pointing the camera at empty space and asking questions like, Are you angry we're here? And how long have you been dead, bro? Matt did his best to moan like a ghost in the background, while Jess rolled her eyes so hard Alex thought they might stick. It was dumb. It was cringy. It was exactly what their fans ate up. Except the house didn't laugh. Every sound they made seemed to land heavy, echoing too long before fading. And sometimes, when Alex replayed quick clips on his camera screen, he thought he caught glimpses of something moving at the edges. Not shapes exactly, more like distortions, like heat shimmer on pavement. He didn't mention it. He told himself it was just dust on the lens. All right, Cody announced after 20 minutes of goofing. Solo missions. Alex, your basement guy. Matt, upstairs. Jess, you film me doing the outro in here. Wait, Alex started. Too slow, Cody said, already handing him a GoPro with a cocky grin. You got this, tech wizard. Think of the views. Jess opened her mouth to protest again, but Matt was already halfway up the staircase, Red Bull in hand, chanting, First one to die's a rotten egg. Idiots, Jess muttered. Alex sighed and clipped the GoPro to his chest. The tiny green recording light blinked at him like a countdown timer. The basement was worse the second time. Every step creaked like a gunshot. His flashlight beam wobbled over the stained carpet runner down the narrow wooden stairs. He tried to focus on breathing, on how this was just a bit for the channel, just dumb entertainment. But the smell was worse here. Damp, sour, and something else under it. Like rust. He reached the bottom, boots crunching faintly on the concrete. The wall of writing was waiting. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. He forced himself to lift the camera and narrate, voice shaking. Okay, guys, I'm back in the basement. You can see the, creepy wall art. Definitely unsettling. The words blurred in his vision. Not because of his eyes. Because they were moving. He blinked hard. No, they weren't moving, not really. But the edges seemed to ripple, like the concrete was liquid and the black ink was seeping deeper. He lifted the flashlight closer. The light quivered, and in that moment, he swore one of the O's and blinked at him. He stumbled back, heart pounding, nearly dropping the camera. Meanwhile, upstairs, Matt was exploring with all the subtlety of a drunk raccoon. "Yo, check it out," he called, his voice echoing through the halls. Parents' bedroom still has a waterbed. Retro. There was a wet slosh, then the groan of old springs. "Matt, stop screwing around," Jess shouted from below. "No can do, boss lady. I'm making content." Cody laughed, filming himself like he was hosting MTV Cribs, Haunted Edition. This is where the ghosts get freaky. And then a thud shook the ceiling. Hard. Jess froze. "Matt." No answer. Another thud, heavier, like something falling. Cody lowered the camera for real this time. "Matt," he called, voice sharp. Silence. Alex scrambled up the basement stairs just as Jess rushed to the bottom of the staircase. Cody was right behind her, camera forgotten at his side. "Matt, dude, answer," Cody barked. Still nothing. Then, slow footsteps, coming down the upstairs hall. The three of them pressed closer, staring up into the dark. Jess's flashlight beam jittered, bouncing off peeling wallpaper. "Matt," Alex whispered. A shadow shifted at the top of the stairs. Then Matt appeared, descending slowly. Relief rushed through Alex's chest, until he noticed how stiffly Matt was moving. Each step was deliberate, like he was counting them. His Red Bull was gone. His arms hung limply at his sides. His face was wrong, expressionless. Eyes wide and glassy, fixed straight ahead. Jess grabbed the banister. "Matt, you okay?" He didn't answer. He just kept walking, step by step, down into the glow of their flashlights. And when he reached the bottom, he whispered, voice low and foreign, "Let me in." The room plunged colder. Cody swore and jumped back, shoving the camera up like a shield. Jess's flashlight shook violently in her grip. "Matt, this isn't funny," she said, though her voice broke on the words. Matt tilted his head slowly, his mouth twitching, like a smile that didn't fit his face. Alex fumbled for the GoPro on his chest, angling it toward him. "It's a bit, right? He's messing with us." But deep down he knew. The voice hadn't been Matt's. It had come from behind his teeth, like something else was wearing him. Cody's bravado cracked. "Okay, bro, joke's over. Cut the creepy act." Matt's eyes rolled upward until only the white showed. Then he screamed. It wasn't human. High-pitched, ripping through the air like a siren. The lights on their cameras flickered violently. The smell of rust flooded the room, overwhelming. Jess screamed back, fumbling for the door. "We need to get out." "We need to," but Matt lunged. It all collapsed into chaos. Cody dropped the camera as Matt tackled him, slamming both of them into the coffee table. Wood cracked. Dust exploded. Cody shouted, struggling, but Matt's strength was wrong. Unnatural. Jess yanked Alex's arm, dragging him toward the front door. He stumbled, the GoPro bouncing against his chest, capturing every blurred second. "Come on," she yelled. Cody was still pinned, Matt's hands clawing at his throat, eyes rolling, mouth spilling guttural sounds that didn't belong in any throat. Alex hesitated, frozen between fight and flight. Then Cody's scream snapped him out of it. He hurled himself forward, slamming into Matt's side with all his weight. The three of them crashed into the wall, picture frames raining down. Cody gasped, scrambling free. "Go, go, go." They bolted for the front door. Jess yanked the handle, locked. She cursed, rattling it furiously. It was open when we came in. Behind them, Matt rose slowly to his feet. His head twitched to one side, then the other like his neck didn't fit right. Alex tried the deadbolt. Jammed. The air thickened, buzzing with static. The walls seemed to pulse. Then Matt spoke again, his voice deep and layered, not his own. "You let me in." They fled to the kitchen instead. The floor tiles were cracked, counters coated in grime. Jess fumbled at the back door, but it too was locked tight, like the house itself had sealed. Cody panted, clutching his neck, eyes wild. What the hell was that? What the actual hell? Matt's footsteps echoed from the living room, slow and steady. Alex's camera was still rolling, the blinking green light mocking him. He wanted to rip it off, smash it. Instead, he whispered, "We need to hide." Jess shot him a glare. "Hide? In here. You got a better plan?" Cody grabbed a kitchen knife from the counter, hands shaking. Yeah, fight. They crammed into the pantry, slamming the flimsy door shut. The space was tight, lined with empty shelves and old soup cans. Alex crouched low, holding the GoPro against his chest like a guilty secret. Matt's footsteps drew closer, dragging slightly now. The floor creaked outside the pantry. A shadow spilled under the crack of the door. They held their breath. For a moment, there was nothing but silence. Then softly, Matt's voice again, calm, coaxing, not his own. "Let me in." The knob twisted. Chapter 3. No exit. The doorknob rattled. All three of them froze, shoulders pressed against splintering shelves, the stink of mildew and dust clogging their lungs. The air in the pantry was hot and tight, their breath loud in the silence. Jess's nails dug crescents into Alex's arm. Cody gripped his stolen kitchen knife so hard his knuckles whitened. Alex had the GoPro pressed to his chest, its tiny green light blinking like a countdown. The knob twisted again, slow, then stopped. Silence. And then Matt's voice. Low, calm, almost cheerful. "You let me in." Jess's eyes widened in the dark, catching the faint beam of Alex's camera light. She shook her head violently, mouthing, "Not Matt." The knob stilled. Footsteps moved away, dragging across the tile. But Alex didn't exhale. Neither did Jess, because the sound didn't fade. It circled, around the kitchen, then back again. Slow, deliberate, like it knew exactly where they were.